Well, I finally decided to make this video for you, Mr. CopiousCags. This is a long one, it took a bit of time, but it's finally out and ready to go. Would also like to say, just a little bit of a disclaimer. Before the video, obviously this is, classic 4chan posts, got some language, offensive, terminology, everything like that. Mean no hate by this video. This isn't really a trigger warning or anything, it's just, saying all love to everyone. But please enjoy, and please don't take offense to, what's obviously just classic 4chan style humor. Be me, 16-year-old normal fag, nerdy, kissless, virgin, beta, the works. Probably a 7, 8 out of 10 in all honesty, just shy, awkward as fuck around girls, and no dress sense. Junior year and homecoming's coming up. Obviously don't have a date because beta. I'm a member of a club that helps yards throughout the day. You know the drill. Beside mom and teachers, the only girl I ever talked to is a tired girl. We'll call her Dippa because she really likes chips and dip. And would always just eat that at lunch. Sometimes I had to sit with her. She was fat and not like pick related, which was like a 10 out of 10 for a downnet. No, she was like a 3 out of 10 on their scale and wouldn't even register on the human scale. Really annoying, but I was stuck with her because I literally pulled the shortest straw in the tart allocation ceremony. Worth looking after her though. I guess gave me something good to do and looks alright on applications. Luckily I have smart fag going on for me. All the alpha went into my grade reports. On top of that, Dippa had a really hot sister. We'll call her Sonia, who was a senior. Beta as I may be, such a connection could one day come in handy, I thought. One day, my friends, i.e. the other members of our Tard Wrangler Brigade and I are sitting with our designated yards at lunch. And one of my friends, we'll call him Joe, brings up homecoming. You got a date on? Palms sweaty, knees weak, etc. No? Can tell Dip is perking up for the first time all lunch. She stops eating her chips and dip. Joe knows she wants to go downs on me. Planning on asking anyone? He smirks. No, not really planning on going. Suddenly, a deep voice that will haunt me forever resonates throughout the cafeteria. I go on the homecoming with you and none, says Dippa. Can see smirks on some of my other Wrangler friends' faces. Even some of the other tards are about to keck. I don't even know how to respond. Every bit of logic in my body wants me to say no, but I can't exactly turn down a downnet and get away with it. Imagine the tard rate. Decide, though, that it's probably for the best if I say no. Would be too embarrassing. All of my friends looking at me, Dippa looking anxious, as the words, no thanks, start to roll out of my mouth. Joe about to shit himself with laughter, but trying to hold it in as to not offend the tards. As if they could understand why he was laughing. Suddenly, Sonia walks over. Reminder, she's the hot, like a 9, senior sister of Dippa. Really nice, but obviously out of our league. I'm worrying more now, because if Sonia finds out I rejected her downy sister, how would that look? How are you guys doing? She asks Dippa. Dippa, wiping dip off her mouth, says, I ask her not if he wants to go hermy-kermy with me. Sonia turns around, looking sexy as hell, but stern. Oh, really, Anern? So, will you accept my sister's invitation to hermy-kermy? Joe, about to flip his shit, can see his size expanding already. A few of the other guys there are also trying to hold in their laughter. Well, I gotta say yes now, don't I? I guess so. Can see everyone smirking, except Dippa, who is gleamingly happy. See how she's so happy, she literally jumps over the table to give me a hug, spilling her fucking dip everywhere. I flinch backwards. Everyone starts to laugh, but there's now a giant downnet on top of me. Feel about as violated as the iceberg in Titanic, and she definitely wouldn't fit on top of that door unless it was reinforced adamantine. Finally pulled Dippa off of me, and some of the adult wranglers notice the crisis scene and come over and restrain Dippa, help clean shit up. After all the mess is over, Sonia comes over to me and says, Thank you for doing this for my sister, seductively. After she walks away, Joe starts making fun of me. You'd think volunteer wranglers would be more considerate of the yards. Hey, Don't make fun of me, bro. What was I gonna do? Plus, she has feelings, too. Homecoming is a few weeks away, but Dippa won't stop clinging on to me, even when it's not my time of day to wrangle her. People will obviously find out, and to some I become a laughingstock. Luckily, my accepting Dippa's invite actually gives me some cred with the ladies. Call me, "Oh, such a nice guy." In other words, "Oh, he's a beta, taking one for the team." Even worse when I tell my parents. They can't comprehend my beta. Mom literally has no response to the news, and Dad just chuckles silently to himself in the corner while watching History Channel. Decide to get ready for homecoming anyway. Realize, fuck it, I'm doing something good for society. Joe eventually calms down from his downs-coming jokes and realizes I'm actually a brave guy for pulling this shit. Dippa, meanwhile, seems like she's really fucking falling in love with me. Somehow, probably through Joe and then Sonia, she gets my phone number and ends up sending me a fucking nude one night while she's romantically texting me. I would let messages pile up and respond to about 40 at the same time to save time. Nude, as you can imagine, is repulsive. Also the first nude I'd ever received, therefore ruining technology-related sexual contact forever. I literally vomit a little upon receiving it. This was about a week before homecoming, but luckily she didn't send me any more pictures after that. I told her it was inappropriate at this stage, and some fucking how she understood and agreed. Wait, did I mention she was allowed to own a cell phone, and that she comprehended texting? Don't always underestimate. Anyway, leading up to homecoming, there was more shit. Lots more of Dippa hugging me in school awkwardly, and people laughing. But luckily, lots of Sonia talking to me and saying how happy she was that her sister had a friend as close as me. Once Joe realized how much Sonia would talk to me because of Dippa, he started to get jealous, and even mentioned as a side comment that he'd even consider dating his own Tardet, Jemima, if she had a hot sister. Tell him, like the alpha that I was becoming, that he couldn't even pull that off. More girls start talking to me about Dippa, which continues to balance out the fact that Dippa keeps spilling dip literally everywhere around and on me, at lunch, in the halls, and so on. Basically, my job was to look after her at lunch and take her to and from her TARD classes like Infant Language 101. Anyway, long story short, homecoming comes along. I ended up getting into Sonia's group because how could she not include her own sister? Ton of alpha male seniors, and a lot of 9 and 10 out of 10 females in the group. A dream come true. Finally, kind of, a member of the popular gang, even if I'm only there because of a chromosomal loophole. Go in a party bus, which is not a good thing with Dippa if you know tards and buses. She flips her shit during the bus ride, ends up literally biting Sonia's date, the captain of the football team. I wrangle her as best as I can and everyone calms down, but it is clear for everyone's sanity that I shouldn't have taken Dippa Suarez to Hermie Kermie in the first place. Finally get to the dance, and Sonia making it a priority to get Dippa and I as far away from their group as possible. End up dancing rat-ardedly, figuratively and literally, in the back with all of the other nerds and losers. She ends up forcing me to slow dance when Don't Stop Believing comes on. Worst part is when they play Gangnam Style, this was a few years ago, by the way, or as she called it, Gangnam Silo. She finally lets herself loose like a tornado into the big mesh of people in the middle of the school, where the dance was, and hits a few people while doing her dance. Sonia helps me calm her sis-tard down and gives me another seductive smile. Thanks for being such a good sport. Finally, the dance ends, and Sonia invites me back to her place, where they're having an after party. First time going to a high school party, never really been interested, but there'll be 9/10s there, so no shit I'm going. My face when I go back to her house and her parents are out of town. Chill Uncle is overseeing the party. Uncle literally sits in the corner smoking weed with some of the party guests. Probably like 50, 60 people there, I guess, all dancing, drinking, what you'd see in a movie, but not what you'd imagine seeing in real life, especially if you're as beta as me. Dream come true. One problem. Still with Dippa, and still have to wrangle date her at the party. Perfect plan. See, they have chips and dip. You know where this is going, so I'll be quick. I send her over to the chips and dip, and she's set. Now for my ascension to Alpha. I decide that now Dippa's satisfied, I'll try to satisfy her sister. I walk over to where some music/dancing is going on. We were in the basement, by the way, and joined Sonia's group, who are just sitting, chilling. Sonia introduces me to the people who weren't in the group and congratulates me for being such a good wrangle date. Everyone impressed by my patience. Sonia looking seductive again. Not even talking to her football captain date is off smoking a joint with the uncle. Girls all over me. Is Tard wrangling really such a panty wetter? Yes, Anons, it is. Have a fun chat with Sonia and her friends. They learn I'm actually pretty cool, despite being a shy, Tard-wrangling nerd. By now, I'm obviously not as shy. Dippa actually did a lot to help me get over that, as did Sonia. Sonia and I finally alone after about 30 minutes of conversation. She's actually tired after organizing the party, and people have gone off to drink, dance, smoke weed, etc. And we're just chilling on the couch at this point. You know, I've never really been anything like this in my life. I've never even tasted alcohol before, I say to Sonia.
Oh, well, there's a first time for everything,
she says, smiling. Dick is diamonds now. Might I go from dating a -9 to a 9 in one night? Will I fully reflect over the sex axis? Yeah, I guess there is. Well, Anon, what else haven't you done before? This is the moment where I refer to full beta alchemist. A lot of stuff.
Like sex?
Yeah. Wonder how she guessed. Dick is now hotter than Bobby Jindal winning a presidential election.
I can see from your pants that you wish that wasn't the case.
Embarrassed, I cover my bonner with my hands.
Don't be embarrassed,
she says, sliding towards me on the couch.
It's flattering.
She leans in to kiss me, my first kiss if you hadn't guessed, unless you include Dippa grinding her teeth against my lips a few times during that slow dance.
You know, for a first timer, you're not so bad, and you're more attractive than you think.
Thanks, I reply, slipping a further letter down the Greek alphabet with each syllable. She giggles, grabs my hand, and secretly sneaks me upstairs. We sneak up to her room, and she closes the door behind us. Obviously happier than I've ever been in my shitty life. Dick is harder than theoretical physics. Things are silent from now on, just Sonia smiling, except she says one thing. And now, I'll make it up for you for what you did for my sister. Fuck, now I'm just thinking of that Dippa shit. Things get a little better when Sonia pulls down my pants and starts going down on me, but still interspersed with my thoughts of Dippa. Still, getting my first beer, thinking of my blowjob, is heavenly, and Sonia's a pro. Obviously, done it many times before, not a surprise. Probably even did it to her stoner uncle. Would explain the family's chromosome deficiency. Her lips and tongues are incredibly wet. Best sensation I've ever felt. Unfortunately, I'm a beta, and I don't last long. She realizes how sweaty and tense I'm getting, and pulls off for a second, saying,
It's okay, I'll be your first swallow too.
Jackpot.jpg. Relax a bit. Let the feelings come. About to come and start saying things like, oh god and holy shit. Can tell she's smiling, even when she's going down. Then suddenly, the second most beta moment of my life. I'm home. Coming! Sonia pulls off and laughs, and I come all over my pants and the floor.
Holy shit, Nern.
Sonia laughs.
I'm sorry, but I can't swallow that shit.
She literally just sits there laughing with a little bit of coom on her face that was lucky enough to hit her. I laugh too, but only to cover up my embarrassment.
You need to work on your sexual language, Anon.
Just sit there quietly, giggling along with her, like a good 5 minutes, just her laughing really loudly and me sitting there kinda giggling with my dick out, covered in coom. But the worst is yet to happen. Yes, what you've been waiting for is about to come. While we're sitting there laughing, someone comes into the room, and no, they didn't knock. Like Donald Trump in an election, Dippa barged into the room, screaming incoherently and fists in the air. Sonia literally yells,
"Holy shit!" and says, "Sorry, Nern, but this is your problem."
Sonia tries to get past her own downy sister, who just walked in on her boyfriend with his dick out in front of her, but it's obviously unsuccessful. Dippa punches Sonia square in the face, Dippa dribbling down her chin and Dorito crumbs all over her dress. Closes the door behind her.
"Nern, why you do the fecky with my sister? I thought you was my man."
Guess you can't jippa the Dippa. I say, obviously have no fucking idea how to deal with this situation. Shituation.
"Well, tit, not gonna happen again. You gonna do fuck you with me now."
Holy fucking shit. Am I about to lose the V card to a walking weather system? No, Dippa, I don't want to. No use. Dippa charges me and jumps on me. She pushes me down on the bed. If you've seen Norbit, you know the deal. Dippa rips off my pants and holds me down and goes down on me. Basically, her tongue just pushes on and off like a frog trying to catch a fly.
"You like it, Nern?"
she asks, drool dripping everywhere. No, please stop. I forget that stop is the one word stards choose not to understand. The rest they legitimately don't, but here it's her choice. She translates stop to take it to the next level and starts stripping Dippa don't .gif. I try to get off, but she pushes me back down on the bed and continues slobbering on me. Releases her full nudity. Not bad for a chubby girl, but if I'm fair, like, if there was a bag on her head, I'd consider. Decide it's no use, and I'm just gonna get Cosby'd, so I just relax and let her fuck me. Well, what really happens is she jumps up on the bed like a monkey and squats on my pee-pee. I have to guide it in, my face when I'm actually helping my designated yard rape me. Remember that Sonia is still knocked out. Damn. Lucky no one has walked in the room, probably too busy smoking weed. Anyway, we fuck for a little, and she basically just falls down onto me and is in like a sleeping position. She's too fat for me to turn over and make some kind of escape. I finally get to the point of Kuban again, have to close my eyes and think of Sonia or get a glance at her unconscious body if I can. Tell her I'm about to blow, and by some godsend, she pulls off my pee-pee and I coom all over her shirt. This is the second worst part of this sexual encounter. She took my coom, rubbed it onto her face, along with the dip still left on her chin. Yum. My face when I was Dippa's dip. She then fell on top of me again and just kind of lay there. Mind getting off me, Dippa? I plead. I love you, Nern, she just said, laying on top of me, smiling. Imagine Drake laying on top of Josh. I think he's got that reversed. Both half naked, and you get the idea. And now for the worst part of the entire story. After about 3 or 4 minutes of her just laying on me, trying to no avail push her off, Dippa just let off the world's biggest, foulest, most rotten fart. Oh, Nern, I got a doppy shapoopy. Oh shit, literally. I'm squirming, trying to get her off me to no avail. And then she literally starts pooping on top of my dick. Like shit is actually leaking onto my penis. If this hasn't registered, a Down syndrome girl is shitting on my pecker. I finally had it and used all of my energy to push Dippa off until she thumps off of the bed. This luckily wakes up Sonia, and she's obviously in pain, but turns around, fully understands the gravity of the situation. Dippa now moaning on the floor, covered in shit. How the fuck do we rectify this shit show? Fucking help me! I cry, moan, and Sonia, tears in her eyes, stands up, wipes off her face of my cum, and runs to get cleaning supplies. Now I'm left with my shit-covered dick and shit-covered downy wrangle date. You can imagine the horror of the situation. I couldn't move because there was shit there, but I couldn't just leave a confused tard on the floor to cry in a puddle of her own feces. Sonia finally comes back to two moaning retards and starts to clean up the mess. Luckily, she said the guys downstairs were none the wiser and most people had actually left. She apologizes for all the shit that's gone down, literally and figuratively.
I wish it could have worked, because I actually like you. You're nice, unlike the stupid popular guys I usually hang out with.
I'm at a loss for words, but just mumble out the thanks. Once I'm clean, I pull up my pants and help Sonia tend to Dippa, who has fallen asleep in her own shit at this point.
You know, she just wanted to have fun, like everyone else,
Sonia says, a tear in her eye.
But she attacked me and you, I say. Yeah, but only because she loves us.
Whatever you say, .mp4. But actually, looking down at her, lying there in her own shit, I did feel sorry for Dippa.
You know, she really is a beautiful person. She just wasn't blessed with the same genetics as you or I,
Sonia says.
I just wish she could be normal, like us.
Sonia starts to cry a little, and I comfort her. Sonia kisses me on the cheek and says,
Can we make this work? Just you and I together? Will we look after Dippa?
I kiss her back and start to laugh at the absurdity of the shitstorm I've just literally experienced.
Yeah, I guess we could.
And that's how I started my relationship with Sonia, which lasted about half a year before she graduated to become a nurse. That moment, with me, a guy who'd just been shat on and raped by a downette, a girl, the downette's sister, who had just been came on and knocked out, only to wake up with two people covered in shit in the same room. Love sparked between us, and the downette, lips covered in cum and French onion dip, lying on the floor, sleeping in her own shit. She looked so perfect lying there in her white shit-covered underwear. I knew now that I'm so downs. Well, there you have it. An epic story, an epic ballad of classic. Hope you enjoyed, Mr. CopiousCags, and DT Dooman, if you're there, who also requested even more Greentext 4chan content. This was a long one. It was a fun one. I hope enjoyed. It's good to have my own rendition of it. I've liked this story for several years now, probably 4 or 5 at least. Let me know what else you'd like to see on the channel. I'll post pretty much a video every really off day I get if I can. If people want me to have a specific thing uploaded, I'll try my best to. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. This has been the Goose Galoose /JamesB2 signing out.